Hey there, Laura Violet here. Welcome back to my channel. I am so excited to be doing today's video because I am reviewing the Charlotte Tilbury Stone Rose Instant Look in a palette. That is a mouthful. Oh my gosh. Who comes up with these names? Anyways, it's an all-in-one palette where you have your bronzer, your highlighter, your eyeshadow, everything you need in this one palette. So if you guys are interested in seeing how I created this look, if it truly is an all-in-one palette, then please stay tuned. Also, if you haven't done so already, please subscribe. I know, you're probably thinking like, this girl's a space cadet. You're right, I am. And in fact, my spirit animal is a squirrel. Anyways, if you're interested in knowing my thoughts, then let's get it going. So initially, here's the package and the outside of the packaging. I cheated just a little bit. I peeked at this palette because I was so incredibly curious what it looked like. I haven't swatched anything, so I don't know how the consistency is of the bronzer and the eyeshadows in here. So I'll go ahead and just do a couple swatches for you in a little bit. Okay, so here is the palette all opened. It does come with a mirror. And again, like I mentioned in my previous video when I did the Natasha Denona review, I don't care about mirrors. I really, truly don't, only because my eyes are so bad. I'm not going to use that anyways. The palette is labeled. Everything is labeled. These rows up here are your eyeshadows. This is your bronzer, your highlighter, and your blushes here. It's a tiny palette. I mean, this is small. As you can tell, here's my hand. I mean, my hand itself is small, but that's my hand. It's pretty tiny here, but tiny means that it is travel friendly. It does retail for $75 on Sephora's website. So if I can find a dupe, I'm always out searching for dupes. So if I can find a dupe of this, I will be sure to let you guys know. I did accidentally, in the process of trying to record this video, I accidentally scratched a chunk out of my highlighter out. So the first swatch that we'll do will be of the highlighter, and this is this is labeled number 7 in the palette, but on the website there are actual names, and this is, I believe, is Rosy Peach is what it's technically named. But here's a quick swatch of that, and we'll see if you guys can see. Yeah, it's pretty. I mean, it looks very subtle, nothing over the top. So if you're one of those, if you're a person who really likes super highlighty, super glowy, bright highlights, this probably isn't going to be for you. I'm going in with the bronzer. Yeah, again, it's pretty. Very soft. It definitely not for every skin tone though. So that's the problem with that. I mean, if you have darker skin tone than I do, I don't see that bronzer working for you, unfortunately. Okay, so the eyeshadow that is marked number 1, Eye Brighten, is actually named Golden Champagne. We'll go ahead and swatch this real quick for you guys too. And as you can tell, again, super subtle, nothing over the top. So we'll see how it looks. So this is Enhanced number 2 in the palette. Yeah, these are very soft, nothing over the top. So if you have darker skin tone, I just don't know if this is gonna work for you. Maybe if you're medium skin tone, I would say the bronzer definitely isn't gonna work for you. But maybe you can make everything else work. God, for $75, that's really expensive. Oh, just got that on my shirt. But like I was saying, for $75, that is pretty pricey to not be universal for every skin tone. And maybe, let me check on the website, maybe there are more shade ranges in there, and maybe there's some on the actual Charlotte Tilbury website. But let me just check for you guys real quick. What? Glasses. Yeah, I just checked the Charlotte Tilbury website, and even on that website, they don't have, this is the only palette that they have. So this, unfortunately, like I said, if you have darker skin tones, it's not going to work for you. Come on, Charlotte. So go ahead and getting started with the look to see if we can create an instant look, an all-in-one look with the Stoned Rose Beauty Palette by Charlotte Tilbury. I'm going to go ahead in with the F21 brush that I have from my ColourPop Ultimate Brush Roll set. So we'll go ahead and just lightly tap that in there and see if we can get this to look halfway decent. So I'm just lightly going in here and placing this bronzer right on my upper cheekbone here. And when I do my bronzer, I typically just kind of like to start by patting and going upwards. So yeah, good color payoff, not bad. So continuing to build that up again, and I just lightly pat, and then I start to kind of blend that in there. These are great brushes. I know I always talk about these brushes, but I absolutely love ColourPop. I love their stuff. I think it's super affordable. And it performs. It performs very, very nicely. So far so good. Everything is blending very nicely. And I forgot to mention when I was doing my swatches, it did feel, I went a little crazy with the bronzer on the nose, but we're gonna fix that. Oh my God, help. So I'm gonna go in with the blush now, and I don't know which one I wanna use. I guess I'm gonna start with the light one here, number 3, the Cheek Sheen. And I'm gonna take my F20 brush from my ColourPop makeup brush roll set, and I'm just gonna go ahead and lightly dab that in there. Nice pigment. And I do try to go in with a light hand because I get a little crazy with the blush sometimes, and then it's like, girl. Okay, so now going in with the highlighter in the palette here. This is number 7. We'll go ahead. Where is it? I don't know if you guys are seeing that. Probably not. It is just very subtle. If you're really into highlight and you like that super highlight look, this isn't going to be for you. Oh, you can see it there. See? Alright, so going in with my e.l.f. C-shaped brush, or C brush, I think it's called. I'm going to take number 1 Eye Brighten from this palette and just place it all over my lids here. Alright, now taking my MAC 217, I'm going to go in with number 2 from the palette, Eye Enhance, and I'm just going to start placing that in the crease of my eye and just kind of build that up there. They are blending very nicely. I'm just going to go back into my other eye ear. I'm going to go back into my other eye ear. Go back into my other eye here and go ahead and pop in that Eye Enhance number 2. I think Charlotte Tilbury, her products also kind of remind me of Natasha Denona, where everything is just so soft. It's so soft and subtle, but not so subtle where it's not packing a punch. I will say that the eyeshadow, I didn't notice this right away. They look matte in the pans. Like these eyeshadows here, they look like they're matte, but they actually do have like a very subtle shimmer to them. So if you're not into any kind of shimmery eyeshadow, you may not like this. But going back in with the same color, Eye Enhance number 2 in the palette, I'm gonna go ahead and just put this on my lower lash line there. So taking my large blending brush, it's the E15 from the ColourPop makeup brush roll set. I'm going to go in and just lightly buff in that shade that I put in there, the Eye Enhance number 2 from the Charlotte Tilbury palette. I just want to make sure I'm all blended and not looking crazy. Now taking my smaller blending brush here, this is the E16 from the ColourPop makeup brush roll set again. I'm going to take number 3 Eye Smoke and just start putting that on my outer corner of my eye, see if I can build up that intensity a little bit. And yeah, and I'm not the best at applying eyeshadow. I do what I think works for me. Emphasis on think. Taking a Makeup Geek pencil brush. This is a smaller pencil brush, or a thinner pencil brush than the Sigma pencil brush. I'm going to go ahead back in with number 3 Eye Smoke, and I'm going to go ahead and just try to define my lower lash line here a little bit. I feel like the eyes need to be defined a little bit more. I'm going to go in with an eyeliner and just see if I can create some more definition up there. Keeping it in the Charlotte Tilbury family today, I'm going to go in with the Pillow Talk eyeliner and just start kind of lightly putting some eyeliner on my outer corner here. And I'm not being too careful with it. I'm being kind of messy with it. It doesn't have to be pretty because I'm going to end up smoking it out anyways. Hi, baby. My dog's back there. Can you guys see her? You probably just see her little butt. So So taking my Morphe M504 brush, I'm just gonna go ahead where I placed that eyeliner and I'm just gonna begin smoking it out a little bit. I'm gonna give myself a little flick right there on the outer corner and blend inwards. So taking my E19 from the ColourPop brush roll set, I'm gonna go in with the highlight in this palette and I'm gonna place that in my brow bone. I'm gonna place that in my brow bone and my inner corner here. So the highlight is just like one of those highlights where it's like, is anything happening? Did anything happen? There is everything. I'm gonna go ahead, get some mascara on these lashes, pop some lipstick on these tiny little lips, and I will be right back. So final thoughts on the Charlotte Tilbury Stoned Rose Beauty Palette and if I feel as though it's worth my money. So I will say yes, and here's why. Number one, I like the fact that when I'm traveling, I don't have to pack a separate eyeshadow palette, a separate highlighter, a separate bronzer, a separate blush. It is all right there in one palette, and I really like that. Number two, the quality of the products that are in there are really good. I felt like my bronzer blended very nicely. I feel like my blush went on very nicely. The highlight, even though I can't see the highlight a whole lot in person, and maybe it's just me, I can tell you what, that highlight is showing up on camera right now. It's like, look at me. The other thing I like is the eyeshadow. I think the color is very pretty. It blended very nicely. I think it's very soft. Very natural, not anything over the top. I also like the fact that I can wear this anywhere. I'm very big on being able to get use out of the products I'm purchasing, especially when you're spending $75. I want to know that if I'm using that, I can use the brush, the highlight, I can use everything in the palette and I'm not being limited. Like I can wear it to work. Mostly whenever I leave the house, I'm leaving the house to go to work, except as of lately. So I really like the fact that it's just soft and natural and really pretty. And that's typically the kind of look that I go for, just something super everyday. Maybe this is a little bit more like everyday glam. Everyday glam. I will say the one thing I do not like about this palette is the fact that the shade range is super limited. And I know that this is a limited edition of Charlotte Tilbury's. I don't know if at some point the brand is going to release more shade options. They may not. I don't know Charlotte personally. I can't speak for Charlotte Tilbury. I just know what's available right now. And right now, unfortunately, with the shade range that they have, if you have a darker skin tone, that blush and that bronzer is not going to work for you, unfortunately. Anyways, that concludes my video here. I want to thank you guys so very much for joining me. Thank you to all those that have subscribed to my channel. If you have not yet subscribed, please consider subscribing to me. I know I don't make sense a lot of times when I talk. I use fragmented sentences. My thoughts kind of tail end. But anyways, it's looking cloudy out there. It stopped raining. It's getting ready to rain again. I want to take a nap. So thank you guys. Until next time, take care.